Waigichika Khalsa, Waigichiki Fateh. My name is Singh, and as many of you may know, I was with Yogi Bhajan's group for 30 years. So I'm very familiar with Yogi Bhajan. Now this morning, I was even shocked to read this informal talk that was published by the Kundalini Research Institute with Yogi Bhajan's Khalsa Council. In this informal talk, there are Yogi Bhajan followers, longtime Yogi Bhajan followers, in 1980, who are having to get a lot of criticism from the Punjabi Gursikh community in Vancouver and also in the UK. So they've come now, Yogi Bhajan students have come now to Yogi Bhajan and are trying to get advice about how to handle this criticism about Yogi Bhajan's Kundalini Yoga. Now it's just appalling how Yogi Bhajan tells them to treat the Punjabis. I was just shocked. And I quote here what Yogi Bhajan says. He's telling a woman how to deal with these Gursikhs. He says, she could have politely said, and I quote Yogi Bhajan, "Bibiji, you are slandering and you are a bitch. Tu kutthi hai." That's Yogi Bhajan's word, and that is his way of having the Americans deal with Punjabis. It's just appalling. Anyway, so I want to also point out how Yogi Bhajan, and I want to say that I'll put the link to this lecture, which everybody should read, this informal talk. I'll put it at the bottom of the description of this video. It's just an eye-opener, I'll tell you. And I'll print it also and post it in case 3HO deletes it, because they very well may after they see that everybody is reading this appalling lecture of Yogi Bhajan's. Now, also in this lecture, Yogi Bhajan gives his Western Sikhs strategies for how to deal with the criticism that's being levied against Yogi Bhajan's Kundalini Yoga. And so he starts out and tells the Westerners, the poor innocent Westerners, he says, and I quote from Yogi Bhajan, he says, "Let it be so known to you that I'm the Amrit." And for all those who don't know what the Amrit Sanchar is, this is the sacred nectar that is given by the Panch Pyare for initiation into the Khalsa Panth. And Yogi Bhajan is saying here, in quotations, that he is the nectar. He says it right there in this lecture. And I invite you all to read it for yourself. He also goes on to say, and if you imagine less that he is the nectar, then in any other way you will be ungrateful and you shall be punished before God, Yogi Bhajan says. How dare Yogi Bhajan says that? But I know for a fact that he put this guilt in us, this shame in us, that if we ever said anything critical against him, that we would be punished by God. This is so typical of Yogi Bhajan. So, he goes on to explain here about his Kundalini Yoga and how these hapless Americans, hapless Westerners can use these arguments that he's putting forward to put down the criticisms of the Gursikhs. He says here, Yogi Bhajan says, that the lineage of Kundalini Yoga is first, the Takat Raj Yoga was established by Raja Janak, who is a Hindu, and after that, the second man who celebrated the kingdom of it was Lord Krishna. In between, it carried on, and then finally when it appeared in Kali Yuga, and that is the house of Guru Ram Das. So Yogi Bhajan completely falsely attributes this golden chain, as he calls it, of Kundalini Yoga to Guru Ram Das Ji, the fourth Sikh Guru, which is completely false. Guru Ram Das had nothing to do with Kundalini Yoga, and Yogi Bhajan is putting this false attribution on Guru Ram Das as being this Raj Yoga, the house of the head of the Raj Yoga. So then Yogi Bhajan says, this is again explaining to his students how to answer this criticism from the Gursikhs. He says, from Kundalini Yoga we got all we have, Yogi Bhajan says. And he says, you abuse Kundalini Yoga we don't abuse your guru. That's what Yogi Bhajan is telling his students to tell these Gursikhs when they criticize Kundalini Yoga. Kundalini Yoga comes from the word kunal, coiled energy, the creative potential of an individual. Kundalini Yoga is a Raj Yoga that creates vitality in the body. This is an explanation that they put into the lecture here about what this means. The fourth Guru in the Sikh tradition, Guru Ram Das, was acknowledged as the greatest Raj Yogi. He opened this long secret tradition to all. Complete rubbish, complete false attribution to Guru Ram Das Ji. And this is what Yogi Bhajan is telling you should tell and use as an argument to put down this criticism. YB goes on to say, our policy should be to protect our own sheep and our own herd and let them not steal our wool, speaking about the Punjabis. They will try to their best. They are going to penetrate through our places, and they want some white-skinned people for their ego and prachar. We have no value for them. So if you ever wonder why Gurmustik, Gurukha Singh, and all these long-time Yogi Bhajan followers so stubbornly stick to Yogi Bhajan, this is why. Because Yogi Bhajan just hammered it into us that we would be put down by God, that we would be punished by God and Guru if we ever said anything critical against Yogi Bhajan. He says here, he goes on to say, and he's speaking to his students here, he says, so why you didn't stand up and say, shut up? Participating with slander is a sin, which cannot be cured until the one whom you have slandered does not forgive you. God cannot forgive you. You participated against my slander, and I'm your spiritual teacher. I took you to Guru, and that is what makes you to sin, and you sin in the house of my Guru, and that is why I wanted you to be here. I yell and scream at you to redeem you, you confused pups. So Yogi Bhajan again is just shaming us so that we will never ever criticize him. YB goes on to say, there's no choice between me and the Guru. So Yogi Bhajan is putting himself equal to the Guru. I heard him say, by the way, in a lecture, I haven't been able to find that lecture yet. He said to the Khalsa Council in another lecture, which I attended, he said, as far as you are concerned, I am the Guru. That's what Yogi Bhajan said. So, and many other people have heard Yogi Bhajan in person say to them that he is the Guru. So Yogi Bhajan says, like I said, there's no choice between me and Guru. You could not even write the word Guru, Yogi Bhajan says. They could not create it. You created it. It is their purpose now. It is a regular pro-communist plot to make American Sikhs divided, put them with duality, fall them apart, and use them. I'm not an idiot. Is it Guru Rajkar, those Naxalites in Vancouver, are used by the Communist Party propaganda? So he's essentially accusing Gursikhs of being pro-communist and trying to make this schism with Western Sikhs. So YB goes on to say about him, he's talking about himself, he's saying here, spiritual teacher controls the heart chakra. And there's this little insertion about chakra. The word connotes a wheel in action. It usually refers to the 7 primary energy centers in the aura that align along the spine from its base to the top of the skull. Each chakra is a center of consciousness with a set of values, concerns, and powers of action associated with it. So Yogi Bhajan says, he as the spiritual teacher controls the heart chakra. It is the ajna, which the Guru controls. It is the shastra, which the God controls. Dummy, you would have asked me on the telephone this question. What they said, go ahead. Yogi Bhajan is completely delusional, if you ask me. Anyway, so then he goes on to say, so why didn't you stand up and say, shut up? Participating with slander is a sin, which is not cured by until the one whom you have slandered does not forgive you. God cannot forgive you. You participated against my slander. I'm your spiritual teacher. I took you to Guru, and that is what makes you to sin. YB goes on to say, there's no choice between me and the Guru. So I already said that. And then controlling the heart chakra. So again, I really encourage everyone to read this lecture and see why The Yogi Bhajan people are so stubborn. Thank you for your time. And again, I'll put this link to this lecture here at the bottom in the description of this video. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.